never told my son that I earned $40,000 every month. He only ever saw me living a simple life. One day, he invited me to dinner with his wife's parents who were visiting from abroad. I decided to play along to see how they'd treat someone poor. So I pretended to be a broke and naive mother. But the moment I stepped into that restaurant, everything changed. That night ended in a way none of them, not even my daughter-in-law, ever expected. And trust me, they deserved every bit of it. Let me tell you how I got there. Let me tell you who I really am. My son Daniel, 35 years old, never knew the truth about me. To him, I was just the woman who left early for work, came home tired, and cooked whatever she found in the fridge. Just another office worker, maybe a secretary. Ordinary, unremarkable. And I never corrected him. I never told him I made $40,000 every month, or that I'd been a senior executive at a multinational company for nearly 20 years, signing million-dollar contracts and making decisions that affected thousands of people. Why tell him? Money was never something I needed to show off. I grew up in a time when dignity lived quietly inside you, when silence said more than words. So I kept my success private. I lived in the same modest apartment for years, used the same old leather handbag until it fell apart, bought clothes from discount stores, cooked at home, saved and invested every penny, and became rich quietly. Because real power doesn't make noise. Real power watches. And I was watching when Daniel called me that Tuesday afternoon. His voice sounded nervous, almost like when he was a little boy who'd done something wrong. "Mom, I need a favor," he said. "Emily's parents are visiting from overseas. It's their first time here. They want to meet you. We're having dinner on Saturday. Please come." Something about his tone made me uneasy. It wasn't the warm voice of a son inviting his mom, it was the voice of someone begging not to be embarrassed. "Do they know anything about me?" I asked. He paused, then stammered. "I told them you work in an office, that you live alone, that you're simple, that you don't have much." There it was, simple. That one word that made my whole life sound small, as if I was something to apologize for. I took a deep breath. "Okay, Daniel. I'll be there." After hanging up, I looked around my small living room, the old but cozy furniture, plain walls, small TV, nothing fancy. And right there, I made up my mind. If my son wanted them to see a poor, simple woman, then that's exactly what I'd give them. I'd show up looking broke, clueless, and ordinary. I wanted to see how they'd treat someone they believed had nothing. Because deep down, I suspected Emily and her family were the kind of people who judged others by money. And I've learned me instincts never lie. Saturday came. I put on the worst outfit I own, a light gray, wrinkled dress that looked like it came from a thrift store. Old shoes. No jewelry, not even a watch. I grabbed a faded canvas tote, tied my hair in a messy ponytail, and looked in the mirror. I looked like a woman beaten down by life. Perfect. I took a taxi to the restaurant, a fancy place in the most expensive part of town. The kind of place where menus have no prices and every table setting costs more than some people's rent. As we drove, I felt something strange, a mix of sadness and anticipation. Sadness, because I still hoped they'd surprise me and treat me kindly. Anticipation, because a part of me knew exactly what was coming. When I arrived, the place glowed with warm lights. The doorman wore white gloves. Elegant people walked in and out. I paid the driver, took a deep breath, and stepped inside. Daniel was near a long table by the window. He wore a dark suit and shiny shoes. He looked anxious. Beside him was Emily, dressed in a cream-colored dress with gold details, her straight hair falling perfectly over her shoulders. Her face looked tense, embarrassed even. Then I saw them, Emily's parents. Victoria, her mother, sat like a queen in her emerald green sequin dress, diamonds glittering on her neck and hands. Her dark hair was pulled into a neat bun. She had that cold kind of beauty that makes you feel small. Her husband, Richard, wore a gray suit and a huge watch. His expression was stiff and proud, like someone used to being admired. I walked toward them slowly, taking small steps, pretending to be shy. Daniel saw me first. His eyes widened. He looked me up and down and swallowed hard. "Mom, you came," he said awkwardly. "Of course, son," I replied softly, smiling like a nervous stranger. Emily gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, cold and mechanical. Mother-in-law, nice to see you, she said, her eyes saying the opposite. She introduced me. Dad, Mom, this is Daniel's mother. Victoria looked up at me, scanning me from head to toe, me wrinkled dress, old shoes, and cheap tote. I saw the judgment in her eyes immediately. She extended her hand, cold and limp. A pleasure, she said. Richard did the same with a fake smile. No one offered to help me sit. I pulled out my own chair, the one farthest from them. He said quietly. A waiter handed us thick menus written in French. I opened mine and pretended I didn't understand a word. Victoria no utist. Do you need help with the menu? She asked with a fake smile. Yes, please, I said softly. I don't understand any of these. She sighed and told the waiter. Get her something simple. Nothing too expensive. The air went cold. Richard nodded. Daniel looked away. Emily fidgeted with her napkin. Victoria started talking about her trip, how exhausting it was, how different things were here. Then slowly, she shifted the Tepicto money. She bragged about their $1,000 a night hotel, the luxury car they rented, the few $1,000s they spent shopping. She looked at me after each sentence, waiting for me to be impressed. I just nodded. That's nice, I said quietly. She smiled proudly. We've always managed money well. We have properties in 3 countries now. Richard runs big businesses, and I handle our investments. Then she turned to me, her tone suddenly sweet. And what about you, Era? What do you do? I work in an office, I said humbly. Just basic things, paperwork, filing, whatever they need. She gave me a tight smile. Administrative work. That's fine. Honest work. All jobs are dignified, right? Of course, I said softly. When the food came, the plates looked like artwork, huge plates with tiny portions. This steak costs $80, Victoria said proudly. But it's worth it. Quality matters. I nodded again. You're right. Daniel tried to change the topic, but Victoria interrupted. Does your mother live alone, Daniel? Yes, he said. She has a small apartment. Victoria looked at me with fake concern. That must be hard, living alone at your age. And does your salary cover everything? I smiled faintly. I manage. I save where I can. I don't need much. She sighed dramatically. You're so brave, Era. Truly. I admire women who struggle alone. Of course, we always wish we could give our children more. But we do what we can. That one stung. She was saying I hadn't done enough for my son. Emily kept her eyes on her plate. Daniel clenched his fists. I just smiled. You're right. Everyone gives what they can. Victoria continued bragging about Emily's fancy education, her travels, her languages, her great job. She talked about how they paid for the couple's house deposit and honeymoon. Then, she looked at me sharply. And you, Era? Were you able to help Daniel with anything when they got married? I swallowed. Not much, I said. I gave them what I could. A small gift. How sweet, she replied with fake warmth. Every bit counts, right? It's the thought that matters. That's when I felt the anger stir inside, minute loud, but quiet and steady. The kind that grows under your skin. I kept my calm face while she kept talking. Because people like her always talk, and the more they do, the more their emptiness shows. Victoria took another sip of wine. This bottle costs $200, she bragged. But when you appreciate quality, you don't cut corners. Do you drink wine, Era? Only on special occasions, I said gently. And usually the cheap kind. I don't know much about it. She smiled condescendingly. Oh, don't worry. Not everyone has a refined palate. That comes with education and travel. Richard and I have visited vineyards all over the world. Richard nodded proudly. It's our hobby. Emily's learning too. She has good taste, she gets that from us. Emily gave a weak smile. Thanks, Mom. Then Victoria turned back to me. And you, Era? What do you enjoy doing in your free time? I shrugged. I watch TV, cook, go for walks, simple things. She and Richard exchanged a look full of silent judgment. How lovely, she said. Simple things have their charm too. Though of course, one always hopes to see the world and grow culturally. But not everyone gets that chance, right? I smiled faintly. Right. I nodded. You're right. Not everyone gets those chances. The waiter brought dessert, tiny pieces that looked more like art than food. Victoria ordered the most expensive one. $30 for a slice of cake the size of a cookie. This is delicious, she said after her first bite. It even has edible gold on top. See those little golden flakes? Only the best restaurants add details like that. I quietly ate my cheaper dessert, simple and small, without saying a word. Then Victoria cleared her throat. You know, Era, I think it's important we talk about something as a family now that we're all here. She looked up, her expression suddenly serious and fake sweet. Daniel is our son-in-law, and we truly love him. Emily loves him too, and we respect that. But as parents, we always want the best for our daughter. Daniel tensed. Mom, this isn't the right time. Let me finish, son, Victoria said, lifting her hand. This is important. She turned back to me. Era, I understand you did your best raising Daniel. I know it couldn't have been easy doing it all alone, and I respect that. But now Daniel is in a different stage of life. He's married, he has responsibilities, and well, Emily and he deserve stability. Stability? I asked softly. Yes, she replied confidently. Financial and emotional stability. We've helped them a lot, and we'll keep helping. But we also think it's important that Daniel doesn't have any unnecessary burdens. Her meaning was crystal clear. I was the burden. His mother-in-law. Emily stared down at her plate, wishing she could disappear. Daniel clenched his jaw. Burdens. I repeated quietly. Victoria Said. I don't mean to sound harsh, Era, but at your age, living alone on a small salary, it's only natural that Daniel worries about you. He feels like he has to take care of you, and that's Fania's a good son. But we don't want that to affect his marriage. Do you understand me? Perfectly, I replied. Victoria smiled, satisfied. I'm glad you do. That's why we wanted to talk. Richard and I have been thinking, maybe we could help you financially. Give you a small monthly allowance, something modest, just to make life more comfortable for you so Daniel doesn't have to worry so much. Obviously, it wouldn't be much. We can't work miracles, but it would be a support. I stayed quiet, watching her. She wasn't finished. In exchange, she added, we just ask that you respect Daniel and Emily's space. Don't visit too often, don't call too much. Let them have their freedom to build their life together without pressure. How does that sound? There it was, the offer. A bribe dressed up as kindness. They wanted to pay me off to make me disappear from my son's life, so I wouldn't embarrass their perfect daughter. Daniel slammed his hand on the table. Mom, that's enough. You don't have to. Daniel, calm down, Victoria interrupted. We're just having an adult conversation. Your mother understands, don't you? I picked up my napkin, wiped my lips calmly, took a sip of water, and let the silence hang. Everyone stared at me. Victoria, waiting for my response. Richard, full of arrogance. Emily, full of shame. Daniel, full of guilt. Then I spoke. My voice was no longer small. It was steady, cool, and strong. That's an interesting offer, Victoria, I said. Truly generous. Victoria smiled proudly. I'm glad you think so. I nodded slowly. But I do have a few questions, just to be clear. Of course, she said, blinking nervously. Ask whatever you like. I leaned forward slightly. How much exactly is this modest monthly allowance you're offering? She hesitated. Well, we were thinking maybe $500 or $700 at most. I nodded again. I see. So $700 a month for me to disappear from my son's life. Victoria frowned. That's not how I'd put it. But that's exactly what you said. I replied calmly. She shifted in her seat. Era, don't take it the wrong way. We just want to help. Help? I repeated. Like you helped with the house down payment? How much was that, by the way? Victoria straightened proudly. $40,000.
$40,000.
Very generous, I said. And the honeymoon? $15,000, she replied quickly. A 3-week trip through Europe. Incredible, I said. So, you've invested about $55,000 in Daniel and Emily. Victoria smiled proudly. When you love your children, you don't hold back. You're right, I said softly. When you love your children, you don't hold back. Then I looked her straight in the eyes. But tell me something, Victoria, all that money. Did it buy you anything real? Did it buy you respect? Did it buy love, or just obedience? The air went still. Victoria's smile vanished. Excuse me, she said sharply. You've spent the entire night talking about money, I said. How much things cost. How much you spent. How much you have. But not once did you ask how I am, if I'm happy, if I need help, if I'm lonely. To you, my worth is $700 a month. Victoria gasped. I didn't. Yes, you did. I cut in. Since I walked in, you've been measuring me with your wallet. And you know what I realized? People who can only talk about money usually don't understand true value. Richard stepped in. I think you're misinterpreting my wife's intentions. I turned to him. Oh really? What are her intentions then? To pity me? To humiliate me during dinner? To offer me alms so I disappear? He opened his mouth but said nothing. Daniel was pale. Mom, please. No, Daniel, I said firmly. Let me finish. I placed my napkin on the table and leaned back. No more timid posture. No more pretending. I stared directly at Victoria. She tried to hold my gaze, but after a moment, she looked away. Everyone could feel the shift in power. Victoria, I said calmly. You mentioned earlier that you admire women who struggle alone, who are brave. Yes, she whispered. Then tell me, I said. Have you ever struggled alone? Have you ever built something with your own hands without your husband's money or family's help? Victoria blinked. I have my own achievements. Such as? I asked, curious. I manage our investments, oversee our properties, make important business decisions, she replied quickly. I nodded. Investments your husband made. Properties you both bought. Businesses built with his money. Am I wrong? Richard's tone turned sharp. That's unfair. My wife works just as hard as I do. I'm sure she does, I said calmly. But there's a difference between managing wealth that already exists and creating it from scratch. Between inheriting an empire and building one brick by brick. Victoria's lips tightened. I don't know where you're going with this. Then let me explain, I said. 40 years ago, I was 23. I worked as a secretary for minimum wage, lived in a rented room, ate the cheapest food I could find, and I was completely alone. Daniel stared at me. I had never shared this much before. One day, I got pregnant. I continued. The father vanished. My family turned their backs on me. I had two choices: give up or keep going. I chose to keep going. I worked until the last day of my pregnancy, went back to work 2 weeks after Daniel was born. A neighbor watched him while I worked 12 hours a day. I paused to drink some water. The table was silent. I didn't stay a secretary, I said. I studied at night, learned English in the public library, took free courses in finance and management. Slowly, I became an expert by myself. No help, no shortcuts. Victoria looked down, her confidence fading. I climbed the ladder step by step: secretary, assistant, coordinator, manager, then director. It took 20 years. 20 years of sacrifices you couldn't imagine. But I did it. And do you know what I earn now? Victoria shook her head. $40,000 a month. The room froze. Daniel dropped his fork. Emily's eyes widened. Richard frowned. Victoria's mouth fell open. Yes, I said quietly. $42,000. Every month. For almost 20 years. That's nearly 10 million in earnings, not counting bonuses, investments, or company stock. Victoria estutterez. You earn $40,000 a month? That's right, I said calmly. I'm the regional director of operations for a multinational company. I oversee 5 countries, manage budgets worth hundreds of millions, and sign contracts you couldn't read without a lawyer. That's what I do. Daniel looked stunned. Mom, why didn't you ever tell me? Because you didn't need to know, son, I said softly. I wanted you to grow up valuing effort, not wealth. I wanted you to become a good man, not an entitled one. Money changes people, and I didn't want it to change you. Emily whispered. Then why do you live in that small apartment? Why dress so simple? Why no fancy car? I smiled. Because I don't need to prove anything. Real wealth doesn't scream. It doesn't need attention. The more you have, the less you need to show it. I looked straight at Victoria. That's why I came dressed like this tonight. That's why I acted like a poor woman. I wanted to see how you'd treat me if you thought I had nothing. And I was right. You showed me exactly who you are. Victoria's face turned red with humiliation and rage. This is nonsense. If you earned that much, Daniel would know. Why would he think you're poor? Because I let him, I replied. Because I never flaunted it. I invest my money. I save it. I don't spend it on jewelry or overpriced dinners. Richard spoke sharply. Even so, this doesn't excuse your behavior tonight. You misread our intentions. Did I? I asked. Did I misread it when you called me a burden? When you offered $700 to disappear? When you mocked my clothes and my life? He stayed silent. I stood up. Everyone's eyes followed me. Let me tell you something no one else will. Money doesn't buy class, or empathy, or character. You may have plenty of cash, but not a drop of what truly matters. Victoria jumped up, furious. And you do? You lied to us. You deceived us. I didn't make you look like fools, I said coolly. You did that yourselves. I only gave you the chance to show your true selves. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Mother-in-law, I didn't know. I know, I interrupted softly. You didn't. But your parents did. They enjoyed every second of belittling me until they realized the poor woman they look down on has more than they ever will. Victoria trembled. You have no right. Oh, I have every right, I said firmly. Because I'm your son-in-law's mother. Because I deserve respect. Not for my money, not for my title, but because I'm human, something you forgot tonight. Daniel stood. Mom, let's go. Not yet, I said. I'm not done. I faced Victoria again. You offered to give me $700 a month. Let me make you a better offer. I'll give you $1 million right now if you can prove you've ever treated someone kindly who didn't have money. Victoria froze. Mouth open. No words. Exactly, I said quietly. Because to you, people only matter when their wallets are full. That's the difference between you and me. I built my wealth. You just spend yours. I earned respect. You buy it. I have dignity. You have bank accounts. I picked up my old canvas bag and took out a sleek black platinum card. I placed it on the table in front of her. This is my corporate card. No limit. Pay for dinner with a generous tip. Consider it a gift from a broke and naive mother. Victoria stared at the card like it was venom. Her hand shook as she picked it up, reading the silver letters. Ara Starling Regional Directo. Her voice cracked. I don't need your money. I know, I said softly. And I didn't need your pity. Yet you gave it freely all night. So take this as a lesson in manners, something your luxury trips clearly didn't teach you. Richard slammed the table. Enough. This is disrespectful. Respect. I repeated. Where was your respect when your wife asked if my salary was enough to survive? When she called me a burden? When she offered to pay me to disappear? Richard's jaw tightened. Victoria only wanted to help. No. Ikurrakta. She wanted control. She wanted to erase the poor mother from her daughter's perfect picture. But she chose the wrong woman. I turned to Emily. Her head was down, hands trembling. Emily, I said gently. She looked up, tears falling. I'm sorry. I really am. I didn't know. Stop, I said softly. You did know. Maybe not about my money, but you knew who your parents are. You knew how they treat people beneath them. And you said nothing. I wanted to, but they're my parents, she cried. And Daniel is my son, I said. Yet I let him make his own choices, his own mistakes, because that's what love does. It gives freedom, not control. Daniel came closer. Mom, I'm sorry. For never asking, for assuming, for thinking you were. His voice cracked. I hugged him. You don't need to apologize, son. I kept it from you for a reason. I wanted you to grow strong, not spoiled. I wanted you to care about people, not possessions. He hugged me tighter. I'm sorry, he whispered again. Victoria still stood stiff, glaring. This changes nothing. You lied. You came here pretending, acting in bad faith. Yes, I nodded. I acted. I pretended. Just like you do every day. What's that supposed to mean? Richard asked coldly. It means you hide behind your money, your jewelry, your vacations. But inside you're empty. No kempastin. No vapes. Just a shiny shell. Victoria gave a bitter laugh. Coming from someone who lied all night, that's rich. Maybe, I said. But my lie exposed your truth. Now you can't hide behind your gold or your smiles. I saw every insult, every fake compliment. And I'll remember them. A waiter approached timidly. Excuse me, would you like anything else? Richard didn't look up. Just the check. The waiter nodded and walked away. Victoria sat down again, defeated, silent, and exposed. Her posture wasn't elegant anymore. It was the posture of someone who had just lost something important. And it wasn't money. It was power. Era, Victoria said, her voice softer now, less aggressive. I don't want this to ruin our family's relationship. Daniel and Emily love each other. They have a life together. We can't let this. Let this what? I cut in. Let this ruin your plans? Let this expose what you really think. It's too late for that, Victoria. The damage is done. We can fix it, she insisted. We can start over. No, I said firmly. We can't. Because now I know who you are, and you know who I am. And that truth won't be erased by empty apologies or fake smiles. You treated me like trash and you enjoyed it because you thought you could. Richard cleared his throat. You're the one who came here lying. You provoked this situation. You're right, I said with a nod. I did provoke it because I needed to know. I needed to confirm what I already suspected. That you're not good people. That money doesn't make you better. That you're exactly the kind of people who look down on others for having less. Victoria Guaiptatir. We're not bad people. Maybe not, I replied. But you're definitely not good. And there's a big difference. The waiter came back with the check and set it in the middle of the table. No one touched it. Victoria looked at my black card still in her hand, then at me. I'm not using your card, she said. We'll pay our bill ourselves like we always do. Perfect, I said. Then keep the card as a souvenir so you remember that not everything is what it seems. That the woman you mocked all night has more than you'll ever have. And I don't just mean money. Victoria placed the card back on the table. I don't want it. And I don't want your moral lecture either. I slid it back toward her. Keep it anyway. Something tells me you'll need the reminder. One day you'll meet someone else like Mesamion who pretends to be less than they are and you'll make the same mistake again. People like you never learn. Richard pulled out his wallet, fanned several shiny gold cards, picked one and set it on the check. The waiter took it and left. No one spoke while we waited. The silence grew heavy and awkward. Emily cried quietly. Daniel held my hand. Victoria stared at the wall. Richard pretended to check his phone. The waiter returned. Sir, your card was declined. Richard's head snapped up. Declined? How? Declined? The waiter repeated. Do you have another form of payment? Richard flushed red. Impossible. That card has a very high limit. It must be a system error. I can try again if you like, the waiter said. Richard handed him another card. The waiter left. Victoria looked at her husband, nervous. What happened? I don't know, Richard snapped. A bank error. Maybe a security freeze. It happens when you travel. I nodded politely. Of course. These things happen. How inconvenient. The waiter came back. I'm sorry, sir. This one was also declined. Richard stood. This is ridiculous. I'm calling the bank. He stormed out. Victoria stayed seated, ashamed and humiliated. This has never happened to us, she whispered. Never. What terrible timing, I said flatly. Daniel glanced at the check. Mom, I can. No, I stopped him gently. You're not paying. I took out my old leather wallet and pulled out another card. It wasn't black. It was transparent, heavy metal one that less than 1% of people ever hold. I set it in front of Victoria. She stared, eyes widening. She knew exactly what it was. That's a Centurion card. That's right, I said. American Express. Invitation only. Minimum annual spend around $250,000, a $5,000 yearly fee, and benefits you can't begin to imagine. Victoria said nothing. The waiter picked it up carefully, almost reverently. He was back in under 2 minutes. Thank you, Miss Sterling. Everything is settled. Would you like the receipt? Not necessary, I replied. He nodded and left. Victoria kept staring at the empty spot where the card had been. I stood, took my old wallet and canvas tote, and looked at her one last time. Dinner was delicious. Thanks for the restaurant recommendation and for showing me exactly who you are. You saved me a lot of time, energy, and future disappointment. Victoria finally looked up. Her eyes were red not from crying, but from rage held in. This doesn't end here, she said, voice shaking. You can't humiliate us and just walk out. Emily is our daughter. Daniel is our son-in-law. We're still family. You'll have to see us. You're right, I said with a calm smile. I will see you on birthdays, at Christmas, at family gatherings. But now I'll see you differently. I won't wonder what you think of me. I already know. And you'll know that I know. You'll live with that. Every time you look at me, very time you pretend to be kind, you'll remember tonight. Richard came back to the table, phone in hand and face pale. There's a problem with the accounts, he muttered. A temporary security block. It'll be fixed tomorrow. He glanced at the table. Did they already pay? Yes, Victoria said without looking at him. She paid. He looked at me, pride shattered. Thank you, he murmured. Barely a whisper. You're welcome, I said. That's what family is for, right? To help each other, especially with a small allowance. Say $700, or in this case, $800, which is what this dinner cost. Richard closed his eyes. Victoria clenched her fists in her lap. Daniel moved closer. Mom, let's go. It's enough. You're right, I said. It is. I turned to Emily. She was still crying quietly. Emily, I said softly. She lifted her head. You're not to blame for who your parents are. No one chooses their family. But you do choose how you act, how you treat people, and how you'll raise your children someday. I'm sorry, she whispered again. Don't apologize again. I told her. Just learn. Learn that money doesn't define people. That humility isn't weakness. That respect costs nothing. And if you ever have children, teach them to see hearts, not bank accounts. She sobbed harder. Daniel hugged her. Victoria looked away. Richard stared at his phone. I headed for the exit. After a few steps, I stopped and looked back. Oh, Victoria, one more thing. She met my eyes. You said you speak 4 languages, right? She frowned. What does that have to do with anything? Just curious, I said. In which of those languages did you learn kindness? Because clearly it wasn't in any of them. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Exactly, I said. You can speak 100 languages and still have nothing worth saying. I walked out. Daniel walked beside me. The fresh night air hit my face. I took a deep breath and felt a huge weight lift, not a physical weight, but the weight of pretending, of tolerating, of keeping quiet. Mom, are you okay? Daniel asked, taking my arm. Perfectly fine, I said. Better than ever. You? He sighed. I don't know. I'm still processing. I can't believe you never told me about your job, your money, everything you accomplished. I stopped and looked him in the eye. Does it bother you? He shook his head quickly. No. I'm so proud. But I also feel foolish. Blind. You're not foolish, I said. You saw what I wanted you to see. I did it on purpose. I needed you to grow without leaning on me. I needed you to fight, to work, to value what you earn yourself. He nodded. I get it. And now I see why you never complained, never asked for help, why you were always so calm, because you didn't need anything. I needed many things, I smiled. Just none that money could buy. I needed to watch you grow, become a good man, make good choices. Even marrying Emily? He asked softly. Even marrying Emily, I said. She isn't her parents. She can learn. She can change. That depends on her and on you, on how you build your marriage and what values you live by. He stayed quiet, thinking. A taxi pulled up. I'd already called a ride. I opened the door. Mom, can I ask you something? He said. Of course. Why did you do it? Why pretend to be poor? Why not just tell them the truth from the start? I closed the door and turned to him. Because I needed to know, son. I needed to confirm my suspicions. I needed to see whether Emily's family was really what I thought. And sadly, I was right. He lowered his head. I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize for them, I said. But you do have to decide what kind of husband and someday what kind of father you want to be. What do you mean? He asked. I mean, you just watched two very different ways of handling money and power, I said. Your in-laws' way and mine. They use it to control, to humiliate, to feel superior. I use it for freedom, to help quietly, to live in peace. You choose which path to follow. Daniel nodded slowly. I understand. I opened the taxi door again and got in. I rolled down the window. Mom, one last question, he said, stepping closer. Will you ever forgive Victoria and Richard? I thought for a moment. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, I said. It doesn't mean letting it happen again. Maybe one day I'll forgive them if I see real change, if they start seeing people as people, not numbers. Until then, I'll be polite, distant, and very careful. And me? Daniel asked. Do you forgive me for not asking, for assuming, for letting this dinner happen? I looked at him with love. There's nothing to forgive. You wanted your families to meet. That's a good thing. What happened after wasn't your fault. It was theirs and a little bit mine, because I chose to play their game. He smiled weakly. You won. I won, I nodded. But I don't feel victorious. I feel tired and sad because I proved something I didn't want to prove. Some people never change. Some families are broken even with money. There are emptinesses no bank account can fill. The driver cleared his throat. Ma'am, should we go? Yes, I said. 1 second. I looked at Daniel one last time. Go to Emily. Talk to her. Listen. Support her. But be honest. Tell her how you felt tonight. Tell her what you expect from her and from her family. If you don't set boundaries now, this will keep happening. I will, he said. I love you, Mom. More than ever, because now I know who you really are. And you're incredible. I smiled. I love you too, son. Always. No matter how much money I have or don't have, because love has no price. That lesson? Victoria and Richard may never learn it. Daniel stepped back. I signaled the driver. We pulled away. I looked out the window and saw Daniel walking back toward the restaurant, shoulders low, thinking. He was going back to Emily to face his in-laws, to have hard conversations. I felt proud. He was maturing. He was choosing to be better than what he'd just seen. The taxi sped through the lit streets. I closed my eyes and replayed everything, every word, every look, every tense moment. I wondered if I'd been too harsh, too cruel, too vengeful. Then I remembered every disguised insult, every condescending comment, every look of disdain, and I knew. No, I hadn't been to anything. I had simply been honest. We rolled through quiet, empty streets. Building lights flashed by. I opened my canvas tote and took out my simple phone, nothing flashy. 3 unread messages. One from my assistant about a Monday meeting, one from a colleague congratulating me on a closed contract, and one from an unknown number. It was from Emily. Mother-in-law, please forgive me. I didn't know my parents would be like that. I'm ashamed. I need to talk to you, please. I stared at the message for a long time. I thought about replying, then decided not to. Not yet. She needed time. I did too. Words driven by guilt don't mean much. Real change needs time, reflection, and consistent action. I put the phone aside. The driver glanced at me in the rearview. Sorry to ask, Mom, are you okay? Yes, I said. Why? You got in very quiet. People who leave that restaurant are usually happy, talking about how great it was. You looked like you just came out of a war. I smiled faintly. Something like that. Was it that obvious? He shrugged. 20 years driving a cab. I've seen it all: drunks, fights, breakups, family drama. You've got the look of someone who finally said something they've been holding in for years. You're perceptive, I said. It's my job, he chuckled. And it passes the time. Want to talk? You don't have to. Sometimes it helps to tell a stranger someone who won't judge. It was tempting, but I shook my head. Thank you. I've talked enough today. He nodded. I get it. But let me say this. Whatever happened in there, you did the right thing. I can tell because you're calm. Not crying. Not yelling. You're processing. That means you told your truth. And truth brings peace even when it hurts. His words surprised me. He was an older man, gray hair, working hands. Simple, like the person I'd pretended to be. Do you believe in truth? I asked. I believe in honesty, he said. Truth changes depending on who tells it. Honesty doesn't. It's saying what you feel without masks, even if it hurts, even if it's awkward, even if it costs you. I nodded. You're right. My wife said I was too direct, he went on. No filter. Maybe she was right. But she also said she never doubted me. She always knew my words were real, not calculated. She sounds like a good woman, I said. She was, he replied. She died 5 years ago. I'm sorry, I said softly. He shook his head. Don't be. We had 40 years of honesty, fights, making up, laughing, crying. Not once did I go to bed wondering what she really thought. That's a gift. It is, I murmured. We stopped at a red light. Can I ask something personal? He said. Go ahead. Are you rich? The bluntness caught me off guard. Why do you ask? Because I picked you up from a $1,000, a person place, but you dress like someone who shops at discount stores. Old bag, worn shoes, but you talk like an executive and move like someone with power. And you paid me with crisp bills from a 20-year-old wallet. Observant, I said. Part of the job, he smiled. So are you. It depends on your definition, I said. If you mean money, yes, I have more than enough. If you mean life, I also have peace, health, a son I love, and work I'm passionate about. That makes me rich in many ways. He nodded. I knew it. Truly rich people don't need to prove it. The light turned green and we drove on. What happened in there? He asked gently. If it's not too nosy. I pretended to be poor, I said, to see how they'd treat me. He laughed out loud. That's brilliant. And how did they treat you? Like trash, I said evenly. They humiliated me, offered me charity, treated me like I was invisible. He stopped laughing. I'm sorry. It hurt a little, I admitted, but it also confirmed what I needed to know. They weren't worth my time or respect. And now they know who I am and they'll live with that. He whistled softly. Must have been epic. It was, I smiled. It definitely was. We pulled up to my building, an older, middle-class place. Not fancy, but safe and comfortable. You live here? He asked. I do, I said. He shook his head, impressed. Most people with money move to luxury towers with doormen, security, gyms, pools. You live like a regular person. I am a regular person, I said. I just have more money than most. That doesn't make me different or better. Money is a tool, not an identity. He smiled. If more people thought that way, the world would be better. How much is the fare? I asked. 30, he said. I handed him 100. Keep the change. That's too much, he said. It's not, I replied. You listened. You gave me perspective. You reminded me there are still good people. That's worth more than 70. He took the bill carefully. Thank you. Truly. Thank you, I said. And keep that honesty. It's rare and valuable. Don't lose it. I won't, he promised. I stepped out and closed the door. He rolled down the window. Mom, one last thing. Yes. Whatever happened tonight, don't regret it. People like you, the ones who tell the truth even when it hurts, change the world. Little by little. One conversation at a time. I smiled. Thank you. I'll remember that. He drove off. I stood looking up at my 5th-floor window. Dark. Quiet. Waiting. I went inside and took the stairs, never the elevator. I reached my door. pulled out the same keys I'd had for 15 years, and stepped in. The apartment was cool and still. I turned on the light. Everything in its place. The simple living room, the small kitchen, the dining table with mismatched chairs, the bare walls. Peace washed over me. This was mine. Truly mine. Not for show. Not to impress anyone. Just a space where I could be myself, no masks, no pretending. I slipped off the old shoes, took off the wrinkled gray dress, and put on soft, familiar pajamas. I made tea, sat on the couch, and turned on the TV. News. Nothing worth watching. I turned it off. I sat in the quiet thinking, processing, feeling, and for the first time in years, I felt completely free. Free from pretending. Free from silence. Free from shrinking myself. Because tonight, I didn't just expose Victoria and Richard. I set myself free from expectations, from judgment, from hiding who I am. And that was priceless, worth more than anything in my accounts. My phone buzzed. Another message, this time from Daniel. Mom, did you get home safely? I smiled and typed back quickly, yes, son. I'm home resting. He replied right away, I love you. Thank you for everything, for who you are, for what you taught me, for never giving up. I closed my eyes as a tear slid down my cheek, not sadness, but relief, love, gratitude. I love you too. Always, I wrote back. I sipped my tea, looked around my simple apartment, me sanctuary, my truth, and smiled. Because at the end of the day, it didn't matter how much money I had or how high I'd climbed. What mattered was this moment, this peace, this honesty with myself. I woke early on Sunday as always. 40 years of work trained me to rise with the sun. Even on my day off, I couldn't sleep in. I made strong black coffee, sat by the window, and watched the city wake vendors opening stalls, people hurrying by. Life moved on, indifferent to personal dramas. My phone rang. A familiar number. Daniel. I answered. Good morning, son. He sounded tired. Mom, I need to talk to you. Did something happen? A lot, he said. Last night, Emily and I talked for hours. Her parents were there too. It was intense. I took a sip. Tell me. He let out a long breath. After you left, I went back inside. Victoria and Richard were still waiting for their cards to work. It was humiliating. Emily was devastated, crying, and I was furious. More furious than I've been in years. I waited quietly. I told them everything, he said. Exactly how I felt at dinner. I told them I was ashamed of them, that they treated my mother like trash, that their behavior was unacceptable and I won't tolerate it ever again. And what did they say? I asked. At first, Victoria tried to defend herself, he said. She said they were protecting Emily, making sure I had a stable family, that their intentions weren't bad. Richard said I was exaggerating, that it was a normal dinner, and your reaction was over the top. I tightened my grip on the mug. Typical. But then Emily spoke, Daniel said. She told her parents they were wrong, that they were cruel. She said she noticed every comment, every look, every disguised insult, and that she was ashamed to be their daughter in that moment. His voice cracked. Mom, I've never seen Emily stand up to her parents like that. I smiled a little. That's good. It means she's finally waking up. Victoria lost it, Daniel said. She started yelling that Emily was ungrateful, that they sacrificed everything for her, gave her the best life, and she had no right to judge them. Richard backed her up. He said you manipulated us and planned everything to make them look bad. I let out a dry laugh. Of course it's my fault. That's what made them angrier, Daniel said. I told them they were right, you did plan it. But they fell into the trap because that's who they truly are. Because they really do treat people they think are beneath them badly. You just gave them a chance to show themselves and they did it perfectly. Well said, I murmured. Thanks. I learned it from you. We were quiet for a moment. Then Daniel continued. Mom, I need you to know something. Last night I made a decision. Emily and I are setting boundaries with her parents. We're not cutting them off, but we're drawing clear lines. No money talk, no comparisons, no trying to control our lives. If they can't respect that, they'll have to deal with the consequences. And did they accept that? I asked. No, he said. They left furious. They called us ungrateful and said we'd regret it, said they wouldn't be there if we needed help. Richard said he'd reconsider his will. Victoria said Emily chose the wrong family. I shook my head. Emotional blackmail, the last resort of people with no real argument. Exactly, Daniel said. But it didn't work. Emily stood firm. So did I. They left without saying goodbye, without even looking back. And honestly, Mom, I felt relief, like a huge weight came off my shoulders. That's because it did. I told him. You dropped the weight of their expectations and control. Now you can build your life your way, not theirs. Thank you, Mom, Daniel said, voice thick. Thank you for what you did last night. I know it was hard and awkward, but we needed to see it. I needed to see who they really were. And Emily needed to see there's another way, more honest, more real. You're welcome, son. I only did what I believed was right. There's something else, Daniel said. Emily wants to see you. She wants to apologize in person. She wants to talk, not as a daughter-in-law trying to look good, but as a woman who wants to learn. What do you think? I thought for a moment. Tell her she can come, but not today. Give her a few days to process and really decide what she wants to say. Rushed apologies are empty. The ones that take time are real. I'll tell her, Daniel promised. Mom, one more thing. How are you after all this? How do you feel? I looked out the window. The sun was up. The day had begun. I'm fine, I said. Better than fine. I'm at peace. I finally said everything I needed to say, and I don't regret any of it. I'm glad, Daniel said. I love you. I love you too. Rest. I'll see you soon. I hung up, finished my coffee, and stood. I decided to do something I hadn't done in a long time. Go for a walk with no destination, just walking and thinking. I put on comfy clothes, old jeans, a simple top, worn sneakers, grabbed my keys, and went out. The streets were alive. Families strolling, kids running, couples holding hands, vendors selling food. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. I wandered to the park and sat on a bench, watching people pass. Then it hit me. Most of these people probably didn't have a lot of money. They lived on enough, worked hard, and struggled daily. But they smiled, hugged, and enjoyed the moment. Then I thought about Victoria and Richard, their money, properties, trips, and jewels. Were they truly happy? Or just busy proving something, trying to fill a hole with things, trying to buy value, respect, and love, things money can't buy? An older woman sat beside me. Good morning, she said, smiling. Good morning, I replied. Beautiful day, isn't it? Very beautiful, I nodded. She took bread from her bag and fed the pigeons. I come here every Sunday, she said. My moment of peace before the week gets crazy. I get that, I said. I needed a little peace too. Rough week, she asked. Something like that, I said. More like a rough night. She nodded wisely. Sometimes one night can change everything. You're right, I murmured. Can I give you some advice you didn't ask for? She asked. Go ahead, I smiled. She pointed at the pigeons. Look at them. Some big, some small, some pretty feathers, some scruffy, but they all eat the same bread. Share the same space. None of them thinks they're better than the others. That's a nice metaphor, I said. It's not a metaphor, she replied. It's the truth. Humans invent fake hierarchies that measure value with outside things. Pigeons don't. They just live. They just are. We should learn from them. I smiled wide. You're completely right. You should teach a class to some people I know. She laughed. Oh, child, at my age I don't teach classes. I just watch and share what I see. Most people don't listen. They're too busy rushing, buying, competing, forgetting that in the end we all end up in the same place. With or without money, jewels, or property, we all turn to dust. How philosophical, I said. How realistic, she corrected. I'm 82. I've seen it all. And I can tell you, the most miserable people I met were the ones who had the most, because it was never enough. They always wanted more, always competed, always compared. They died without truly living, loving, or being. Her words sank deep, like she said out loud what I already knew. Thank you, I told her. She patted my hand. You're welcome, child. Remember, it doesn't matter how much you have or don't have. What matters is how you treat people. That's what lasts. That's what counts. That's the only inheritance worth having. She stood slowly, tucked away her empty bag, and waved. Have a beautiful Sunday. I watched her walk away small, hunched, old clothes and worn shoes, but with more wisdom than all the Victorias and Richards in the world. I felt grateful. Grateful for the meeting, the reminder, the truth. I sat a while longer, thinking, feeling, processing, and I came to a conclusion. I didn't regret anything. Not a word. Not an action. Everything I did last night was necessary. It was freeing. It was honest. And honesty, even when it hurts, is always the right path. 3 days passed before Emily knocked on my door. 3 days of silence and reflection. When the bell rang that Wednesday afternoon, I knew who it was. I opened the door. There she stood, no makeup, hair in a simple ponytail, jeans, a plain top, no jewelry, no heels. She looked vulnerable, real, nothing like the woman at the restaurant. Mother-in-law, she said quietly. May I come in? I stepped aside. Come in. She walked in slowly, taking in the simple living room, the old furniture, the undecorated walls. She sat when I pointed to the sofa. I sat opposite, waiting, no pressure, letting her find her words. I don't know where to start, she finally said. Start wherever you can, I replied. She took a deep breath. I came to apologize, but not just with words. I came to explain why my parents are the way they are, and why I stayed silent so long. I listened in silence. My parents grew up poor in a small town overseas, she said. No electricity, no running water, working the fields as kids. They watched their parents die young, no medicine, no money. They were hungry. They suffered. They swore they'd never be poor again. They'd do whatever it took to get out. I nodded. I understand. That explains a lot. They worked like animals, Emily said. Saved every penny. Immigrated for opportunity. Richard built his business from nothing, literally nothing. When they finally had money, they never forgot how it felt not to have it. That's why they talk about it so much. That's why they measure everything by it. To them, money means survival, safety, never going back to that dark place. It's understandable, I said. Trauma does strange things to people. She nodded. But it doesn't excuse how they treated you. I know. And I want you to know that I saw everything, every comment, every look, every insult. And I stayed quiet because I've done that all my life. Staying quiet. Accepting. Letting them control everything. They taught me that disagreeing was betrayal, ungrateful. And now? I asked. Now I know I was wrong, she said. Love isn't control. Family isn't blind obedience. I can love them and still not agree with them. Daniel helped me see it. You helped me see it. That night when you revealed yourself and said everything, it was like the blindfold came off. She wiped tears. I always felt something was wrong. I knew the way they measured people wasn't right, but I told myself I was too sensitive, that I didn't understand the world. But you showed me another way, where money doesn't define worth, where humility is strength, and authenticity is wealth. I took a sip of water. Emily, I didn't go there to change you. I went to protect myself. Don't know who I was dealing with. I know, she said. And I'm grateful because your honesty saved me. It saved me from becoming my mother, from repeating that cycle, from teaching my future kids that people are measured by what they own. I don't want that. And your parents? I asked. How are they now? Furious. Hurt. Humiliated, she said. Victoria hasn't spoken to me in 3 days. Richard texted that I disappointed him, that I chose strangers over my own blood, that I'll regret it. She paused. And the strange thing? I don't feel bad. I feel free. That's good, I said. It means you chose right. She nodded. Daniel and I set boundaries. We told them they can be in our lives only if they respect us and our decisions without controlling us with money or guilt. If they can't, they'll have to accept distance. How did they take it? I asked. Badly, Emily said. Victoria called us ungrateful, said they sacrificed everything for me. Richard threatened to disinherit me and cut off help. As if that's all we care about, like our love depends on their money. And that's when I realized they really think their value lives in their wallet. It's sad, I said. Very sad, she agreed. They have so much and enjoy nothing. They just gather, compete, and show off but never ask if they're happy, or at peace, or truly connected to anyone. They count properties and feel victorious while they're empty inside. She was quiet for a moment, then looked me straight in the eye. Mother-in-law, I want to ask you something. Go ahead. I want to learn from you. Teach me how to live with dignity, how to be rich without needing to prove it, how to have peace in chaos, how to be strong without being cruel. Because that night, I saw something in you I never saw in my parents' class. Real power. A woman who doesn't need to shout to be heard. I smiled gently. Emily, I can't teach you that like a class. You learn it by living, be making mistakes, falling, getting back up. I can share my experience and tell you the path isn't easy. People will judge you for living differently. But if you stay true to your values, you'll find peace. And that peace is worth more than any money. I want to try, she said. I want to be better not just for Daniel, but for me. I deserve a life without constant pressure, without the need to impress, without the fear of not being enough. Then do it, I said. But don't try to change everything at once. Do it slowly. Start by questioning your habits, your purchases, your motives. Before every decision, ask, is this for me or for others? Does this bring peace or just appearance? She nodded, taking it in. And my parents, do you think they'll ever change? I answered honestly. I don't know. Change starts when you admit there's a problem and they don't think they have one. They think the world is wrong, that people are ungrateful, that they're the victims. Until that shifts, they won't change. But you can. You can break the cycle. I will, she promised. With Daniel's help and I hope with your guidance too. You don't need my guidance, I said. You need your inner compass, the voice you silenced for years to please your parents. Listen to it. Trust it. Follow it. She wiped her last tears. Thank you, mother-in-law, for everything, for your patience, your honesty, for not giving up on us. There's nothing to thank me for, I said. Just promise me one thing. When you have children, teach them people's value, not price. Teach empathy, humility, and kindness. They cost nothing and mean everything. I promise, Emily said firmly. With all my heart. We hugged, real, warm, honest. No acting. No masks. Just two women meeting as human beings. She left an hour later, lighter, freer, hope in her eyes. I closed the door, went back to the sofa, looked around my simple home, and smiled. This was enough. This was everything. An honest space, an authentic life, real relationships. I didn't need more. I never did. My phone buzzed. A message from Daniel. Mom, Emily told me she visited. Thank you for welcoming her, for listening, for giving her a chance. I love you more than words. I replied simply. I love you too, son. Always. I sat by the window and watched the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. And I understood something important. Real wealth isn't how much you have. It's how much you enjoy what you have, how much peace you feel, how many genuine people are around you, how often you can look in the mirror and be proud of who you are. Victoria and Richard had millions. But I had this calm, this truth, this pure love for my son. And that made me richer than them. I never pretended to be poor again. I didn't need to. I had learned what I needed to learn, seen what I needed to see, and released what I needed to release. Victoria and Richard stayed who they were, rich in money, poor in spirit. But that was no longer my problem. I had spoken my truth, set my boundaries, protect my peace. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't have to pretend. I was simply a mother, executive, woman, survivor, fighter, rich in every way that actually matters. And that was more than enough. It was everything. Did you enjoy the story? And which city are you watching from? Tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for your love and support. I'm looking forward to your comments. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.